Hello, everybody. My name is Andrew Nabors. I'm a respiratory therapist here at Valley Sleep Center. The door is magically opening behind me because of the air kicking on. So close that. I'm a clinical educator here, and I work with people who have CPAP problems. That's my main go-to is anything CPAP related. If you have CPAP issues, most likely I can figure it out and at least set you on the right path to success. I can line it up, I can set all the cards up, and that's for you to knock them down. So this presentation is regarding fixes for that leaky CPAP. As I said, it's going to be geared towards masks, not water tanks or leaky water or anything like that. But anybody who uses CPAP has experience of leaking mask. There's zero way around it. It's just going to happen. So let's get this slideshow started. And if anybody, again, has questions, you can put it in the chat or the Q&A. And at the end of the slideshow, there's going to be a winner selected for a free mask and mask fitting with me. And I work out of 3 locations. Again, I work out of the Arrowhead location, Scottsdale, and Biltmore. If that's one of your normal locations, you come in there and we can schedule an appointment for this mask. If maybe you have to drive, you're still getting a free mask out of the situation. So that's a win. So I'm going to share. All right, fixes for that leaky CPAP. All right, it's going to be how to minimize mask leak for successful treatment. As you can see, this guy laying here, his body position is setting himself up for mask leak. It's a tough position to sleep in, not unheard of for people to do it. I discussed with the lady today how that position is going to cause her mask to leak, and as unfortunate as it was, she might have to manipulate some things to make it work. Now, especially when a person first starts using this equipment in the way primarily people have been treated during this whole COVID situation where they've been more or less handed equipment. Nobody was trying masks on because COVID would disallow the DME vendors from trying masks on patients. So it's not unusual to find a CPAP mask leaking. Now, the mask can leak, throughout the night, causing you to rip the mask off. And that's where a lot of problems can come into play, especially during the first times, or at least the beginning stages of treatment. It's not a natural thing to do. Dealing with sleep apnea, the goal of it is for all this stuff to become second nature. But wearing a mask on your face and trying to sleep at night is definitely difficult. Health obviously is one of the major reasons why using this. While most of the people who get sent in our door are sent here because they're snoring and their significant others over it, treating sleep apnea is really for your health, not just snoring. If you can't use your CPAP because of leakage, a lot of insurance companies will pull the plug on your data or your use. They say, we're not going to pay for this anymore. You obviously don't want to use it. We're not going to cover it. You need to give it back. And then getting the process restarted and getting a new machine and such it's kind of a pain. It's not a good and easy process. Now, dealing with mask leaks, absolutely you're not alone. In my years of experience, when I have a patient who comes in and I'm seeing them at a compliance visit and their mask does not leak, I am overly impressed. Like ecstatically impressed, like how on earth does this person control 100% of air leak? Because that's not common. You look at this mask, I use it as a comical reference because, this is a full face mask and, this mask leaks like crazy. Why this mask was even designed and created is unbelievable, but it exists. Whether or not Respironics still makes it, I couldn't tell you, but I know it exists in the world and it shouldn't, but it does. So here's some helpful tips to help reduce leak. Maybe not eliminate it, but reduce it to make it tolerable. Obviously, first and foremost, get a well-fitting mask. Again, when the whole world of COVID happened, people were just being handed masks. Sometimes they would get these cool sizing sheets where you size your nose or your face and these things. And they say, oh, according to the sizing sheet, you're this. Well, I put those sizing sheets set it up to my face all the time. And according to them, I'm a small, medium, and a large. So most of the time getting fit with a mask is going to be on the experience of the respiratory therapist or the sleep provider to help you with this direction. If you're a veteran user, you kind of have a better blueprint of what may work for you, but getting a fitting mask is super important. Another variable, every single mask leaks, all of them across the board. There's never been a mask that's been designed in the history of masks that's going to seal. There used to be custom made masks, and I hear floating rumors that there's still places to make them. I've never been able to find it. I've tried to reach out for some custom fitting masks for a small percentage of patients that really, really would benefit from them. They don't really exist. I can't find them, but they're still going to leak because they're generally generically made, and you're going to go to sleep, and you're going to be laying down. Your mask's going to shift. It's going to move. The straps come loose. The clip pops off. The pressure spikes up on you. Eliminating mask leak is like trying to eliminate your shoes from coming untied. It's just impossible. It's just inevitable that your mask will leak. CPAP pressure. This is also another huge variable. In the world of treating sleep apnea, the gold standard is the CPAP, and more often than not, people are going the route of an auto-PAP machine, which I love APAP machines. I think they work great. I think they do a very good job of treating sleep apnea with the variabilities of pressures. The downside, especially when you first start treatment, is that you're being prescribed with an APAP machine with a generally pretty generic setup with a low pressure, high pressure, and we don't know what you're going to need. We have no idea. APAP machines, while they work well, can have sometimes high highs and low lows with pressures riding a roller coaster, okay? And the pressure could cause, as the pressure increases, it causes the mask to lift off the face. Especially if you're the type of person that's fitting your mask at a low air pressure, like when it first starts, if you think, oh, this light fit works, it's not very tight, and then the pressure doubles because it needs to, because you have apnea, and then the mask blows off your face, well, then you got to fix your mask fit. You got to adjust it. But we can control the air pressure. One of the things that I particularly like to do for patients is when they come back and they see their first follow-up or their second follow-up or whenever they follow up, is discussing the pressure. How's the pressure feel? Is it working for you? Is it too high? Is it too low? Are you comfortable with it? If you're happy with your pressure, leave it alone. We're not going to touch anything. But if you're struggling with it, if it's going too high, blowing your mask off your face, these downloads give assessments on your average pressures, and we can tweak and adjust the system to kind of fit your needs. Again, you start with a generic setup, and then we tweak it for you. Now, beards and mustaches. I have a full beard. Sometimes it gets long. Sometimes, if I wear a full face mask, it leaks through my beard. And the last thing I'm going to do is get rid of it. So, if you're a person with facial hair, which a lot of men have that, obviously, your mask's going to leak. Your system will tell you that it's leaking. It'll give you either this cute little sad face, or you get reporting that the mask leaks. And a lot of times with facial hair, you can't even feel the leak. You don't even notice it. The system registers it, but you don't feel it. You can kind of maybe get your hand underneath the mask and get some airflow through it. But ultimately, if you can't tolerate nasal pillows and you need to use a mask, like a nasal mask or full mask, you have facial hair, guarantee that it's going to leak. There's some ways to help eliminate it. You can use some beard oil in the beard and such. But beards and mustaches, leakage is, again, inevitable. Now, dealing with the leaky mask, adjusting the straps. It's not a rocket science that you want to adjust the straps to help eliminate the leakage. But one thing about the straps is if you adjust them too tight, you're actually going to cause leak, okay? The pressure of these seals will start to compress on your face and wrinkle up. And then in turn, people start yanking and yanking and yanking and yanking and yanking. Before you know it, this thing's causing so much discomfort in your face and it's driving you nuts. Sometimes start from scratch, pull the mask, leak it, let the mask come off your face, reset, readjust the seal, adjust both straps together at the same time. Just like you're tying your shoes, you don't tie one lace real tight and the other one just barely hangs on, you tie them together, okay? Practicing while awake. One of the things these machines do is they do a run mask fit option. It's in the options menu. It spikes the air pressure at a working pressure. The idea is that you put your mask on, you get yourself settled into bed, you get yourself comfortable, you run a mask fit. It shoots your system up to whatever working pressure you use, and then you can adjust the straps. You're doing this while awake so you can test the system, test your mask fit. Now, again, diving back to some of the inevitables, one of the reasons that your mask is going to leak is because you're unconsciously moving in bed. We are in bed, we shift, we move, we twitch, we thrash, we lay on our face, we yank the tubing. A lot of times we're the problem. Masks, again, they're imperfect. There's a lot of limitations to the type of mask that a person can wear. Obviously, in my opinion, the smaller the better. I love smaller nasal pillow style masks because they're generally easy to fit, easy to tolerate. But if you're a person who has to use a mask and you're laying on your stomach and your mask shifts off and you complain that your mask leaks and it's all about what you're doing and not what the mask at all, you need to make some adjustments. So tweaking the fit, readjusting the mask, and kind of keeping your head off the pillow. If you get your head in the pillow, it leaks. So making some conscious adjustments. Some of it's hard. When we like to sleep nice and comfortable in bed, and when we have to change our sleep dynamic, for a while, it's uncomfortable. It's not normal. Now, again, pulling the mask tighter and tighter causes worse leak. So definitely come back from scratch. You can undo the straps, let it come out. The air is going to blow like a madman at your face, but then start to adjust the straps. Go to a point to where the mask stops leaking, and then add just a little bit more oomph and go. One of the test things I do on the side is when you have a strap that's coming underneath the ears and connecting to the mask, a good baseline fit is you want to be able to get one finger underneath that strap and then not sloppy. If it's sloppy and loose and just flopping there, your mask's going to leak like crazy. But if you get one finger space underneath there, it's tension along your finger, most of the time, the mask will hold in place pretty well, unless pressure is the issue. Trying different masks is almost always recommended if you're leaking like crazy. I had a patient came in, just my last patient of the day. He's not been successful at treatment at all. Okay, he very, 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 very much needs to use it. He has an aggressive amount of apneas, but when he got the system, he really wasn't fit correctly. Pressure was an issue, and particularly in his issue, his pressure was too low. Okay. Now, some people are be like, well, how could the pressure be too low cause an issue? Well, the problem was that he was such a big guy, the system started too low with not enough air. And in turn, he forced the mask to leak to compensate for the lack of air pressure. We've all noticed when we pull our mask off, it blows like crazy. It's the system compensating for air leak. Okay, so it spools the airflow through the roof. Well, the pressure is staying the same. The flow skyrockets. So in this person's response was he pulled the mask loose just to get some speed in so he could feel like he got some air. In turn, he couldn't tolerate it, couldn't use it because it was blowing like crazy, when the actual solution to his problem was he needed more air pressure. He needed to go up so he could actually get air in, okay? And also in his example, looking at his download report, his apnea index was really, really, really high. Okay, his apnea index was 52 per hour, which is, if a provider looks at that, this is not working at all, even in the slightest. His system is registering, of the 52 apneas, 46 of them are unknown. Unknown apneas are almost always directly linked to excessive mask leak, which is his problem. You correct the mask leak, you fix the unknown apneas, you get a better and truer assessment of how the system's functioning. So sometimes on these reports, if the index shows a significant amount of unknown breathing issues and your mask is leaking, kind of correct the problem. Now, which CPAP mask style is best for you? There's the four general styles. You have nasal pillows, full faces, nasal masks, get these hybrid style masks. I like nasal pillows. They're easy to fit. They're small. They're light. They're just the nostrils. They do shift. They move. They have a learning curve of just not breathing through your mouth, which causes leak. But they're small and simple. Nasal masks are along the same category as a nasal pillow mask. They just tend to hold in place better with the straps. So if shifting and moving and mask stability is an issue with pillows, nasal masks usually fix them. Full face mask, hybrid style masks are designed for nose and mouth breathers. Somebody who cannot just particularly use their mouth allows you to breathe through both. The hybrid styles are kind of coming into the line of a lot of patients are using them because they're under the nose, around the mouth. They're not as intrusive in the face. Again, smaller is better. So staying compliant with your treatment is going to be the only way this is ever going to work for a person. The consistency factor is, you can't beat it. There's no magical way to eliminate 100% of air leak, but without compliance, CPAP's not going to work anyway. So if you don't use it, it's never going to work. Obviously, better sleep, it leads to a healthier immune system, a better respiratory system. And if you're having other more specific issues with your CPAP, you can schedule with one of our sleep specialists. And of course, somebody in office is going to be winning a mask today, and we will select somebody and have the appointment scheduled and mailed out. So I do have a question. Candace Rickson about the Bleep Mask. Well, what's wonderful about the Bleep Mask is that, again, it's a nasal pillow style mask. I recommended it to a patient today because of just issues with headgear. So the Bleep is a direct nasal mask. There is no straps and no issues, no strap issues, so no slipping around. You adhere it with like a Band-Aid style adhesive. It just sticks and goes around the nose. Because it's actually Band-Aiding, so to speak, to your nose, it's not going to shift. It's not going to move, and it's not going to leak. Now, the thing about the Bleep mask is your mouth is exposed. So if mouth breathing is your leak issue, it's still going to register as leak. The download reports can be reviewed, and you can see the air coming through the mouth. You can get an idea that that's the case. And then maybe the Bleep is not a good style for you. But I like the concept. I think it's a good design. I personally have not tried it, only because of the design with in the nose, the Band-Aids. It's not something that we as a lab can carry because it's super one-off. It can't be repurposed to be reused in another patient or delivered to other patients. So if you're a nasal pillow user, give the Bleep a shot. Like I said, I was searching. I found it online for a patient today, and she was looking at it.